What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be discussing more quotes coming out from our president, Joan Laporta. He's been doing a little bit of a press tour, speaking to multiple outlets yet again. I think he kind of did this all in one sitting, but it's being released slowly but surely. But again, the amount of quotes that have been released is so much that it deserves its own video, and the big insights he gives are absolutely massive, from bids to renewals to interest in big players. Everything is in this video. So of course, before we get into it, drop a like, subscribe down below, and let's get crack-a-lackin'. We're gonna start off with his quotes coming in from the Barca studio. Now, apparently Barca Studios, with Barca One, the new TV for Barcelona, they're gonna be doing some, podcasts here and there. Their first guest was Joan Laporta, so that was pretty cool. I don't know if their guests in the future are gonna be, Deco and players, or maybe former players, whatever the case may be. But he was the first guest, and he gave us some insights on the new kit supplier, saying that we have three options on the table: the current supplier, Nike, with whom we had a relationship with, of course, with 27 years now. We have offers from the market. We know that they would pay us much more. They're very interesting offers. And we also have, of course, in line with our business, of BLM. He was then asked on the kit contract negotiation and sponsorship, saying that Barcelona is a team that sells the most shirts and has to have the best contract on the market. We are looking to have the best equipment supplier contract in the world in business with technologies like with Barca Studio. We need partners to help us, but not in this. BLM is looking to know the market. We know what one can pay for Barcelona shirts, the effort that Nike is making to stay and finding the way of creating clothing and distributing it ourselves, which is not a utopia. So he's just there basically portraying that, look, manufacturing ourselves is not as difficult as the world and the media sees. We kind of have all the backbone there, but of course going with the sponsorship does make it a bit easier. Now, touch on the Nike stuff a little bit more, but of course we have more quotes coming in from his interview with Mundo Deportivo. I think he did 2 days ago, but again, the quotes are being released slowly but surely. He was asked on the future of Frenkie de Jong, saying that yes, he is delighted. The last thing that he would want is to leave Barcelona. He has told me more than once that he is delighted here at the club. He was then asked on retaining key players like Frenkie de Jong amidst contract negotiations, and he said, we have margin. We are delighted with them. I'm not worried about anyone, and everyone wants to leave who can't go against a player's will. He's basically saying that if it comes down to financial wise, he's pretty confident those players like Araujo, Frenkie, Gavi, Pedri, who only renewals, will end up staying. He says if someone wants to leave, they can leave. So that's going to be the big question mark. We continue by saying that I think everyone wants to stay, and we have to stay as well. We don't want any of them to leave because no team in history has been a flash in the pan. So again, all about that core. He kind of worked so hard on keeping that core. We want to continue on with that core, and Laporta confirms this as well. On the financial strategy, Laporta says that we have to prioritize making the team powerful. There are some, principles that we can't transgress. If you bring in someone who earns 20 times more than someone who earns right now, it would be like entering an absurd pyramid. So again, keeping everything in that financial pyramid that Barcelona, the new board, have worked so hard on over the past few years. Then as on the continuation of João Felix and João Cancelo, and Laporta says, I think they will continue. I hope that Atletico de Madrid will not put any objects or obstacles in for João Felix continuing with us, and the same for Man City when it comes to João Cancelo. We have an agent there who is working on the issue, Jorge Mendes. He knows our intentions to continue with the players. What I can tell you now, because it will depend on a lot of things, whether we're going to sign them or extend their loans, it will surely be an extension of the transfer, already setting a price. So he's basically saying what we already know in the media. The club have basically decided at this point to keep both players. We've kind of set our prices and our conditions to Jorge Mendes, and now it's his job to go out there to Atletico and Man City, negotiate, and get us a deal out of it. Again, Barcelona want them to continue. I'm pretty sure both clubs respectively want those players to leave permanently, whether we extend the loans or sign them permanently, loan with buy option. The formulas are there, and Barcelona have set their parameters. Is now down to reaching the agreement. On Ansu Fati, Laporta says Ansu is being followed by Boyan. We already know that Boyan, apart from dealing with the players who are from the loans and who are in the first team dynamics or who do not come to train, also take care of the players that we have on loan as well. On those loan players that Boyan is following, he's following, of course, Araujo, Julian in Las Palmas, Ansu Fati, Lenglet. There are a series of players that have been following. Ansu had an injury, of course. He has recovered from it at the end of the season. What he's done, in principle, he has returned by contract, but we will see what happens with his future. Of course, according to reports, Barcelona looking at another loan for Ansu Fati. Then adds on a powerful media signing, so a big summer signing this summer, and Laporta said it's just that we don't see it as a necessity, but there will be some retouching this summer. So again, don't expect Barcelona to sign a Lewandowski or Rafinha or Koundé, but key players for good value. So you're looking at a pivot, you're looking at a left winger, of course. I don't see the need to make an investment that cannot destroy what we are building, which is a balanced team. So again, I don't think Barcelona will spend more than 100 million euros this summer, but if you can spend that 100 million, split it up evenly, whether it's 60-40 or 50-50 on a top really good left winger and a pivot, of course, everyone's going to be happy. Laporta then asked whether the futures of players like Kubarsi or Ford is in danger, and Laporta said no. On the contrary, we count on them for everything next season. The basis of next season's team will be the same. If we achieve the objectives, we don't want to have to make any sales unless there are players who do not want to continue. He keeps on saying this a lot, Laporta. The door is open to players who do not want to continue because they are not participating enough, or because maybe they aren't interested in leaving Barcelona because they'll make them an offer somewhere else that we will not match. So he's basically saying players will only leave Barcelona this summer if A, not getting enough minutes and they're not really happy at Barcelona, or B, someone else makes them an offer that Barcelona will not match and they accepted that offer. Again, the whole idea from the Barcelona board, Laporta and Deco, Boyem, and Enric Masip, is to keep the core of the team. Let's hope we do continue with that. Then asked on his relationship with Real Madrid today, Laporta said today the relationship with Real Madrid is not good. They're appearing in El Clasico Negrero when it's them trying to influence referees through Real Madrid TV, which I'm angry about. It's a shame what they do. So he's basically saying that they're not no good relationship because they're kind of against Barcelona in the Negrera case, while on Real Madrid TV they're slating and attacking referees left, right, and center. He's then asked, do you believe that Barcelona doesn't need a player like Haaland, so a big player? He said to Laporta, you are confusing the media with the players who fit this team. There are one or two deals to improve the team, players of the level of Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, Joao Felix, Ferran Torres, Rafinha, who are performing great, and also Victor Roque, who's in the process of adapting. I don't see the need to make a deal that might destroy what we are building, which is a balanced team. Next year we will return with the Gavi, of course, who gives us energy, and Frankie de Jong and Pedri, who are world-class players. So again, not signing, big players for the sake of signing it just to make a big signing and get shirt sales and sponsorships and marketing, all that. He wants to have that core team balance. You can't have too many big heads, which Real Madrid are trying to do. So I think that might backfire them just a little bit. But anyways, again, correct mindset in my opinion. Now, some of the final quotes here of Joan Laporta. These are some big ones as well. We've received offers for Alejandro Balde, Fermin Lopez, Gavi, Pedri, De Jong, Araujo, and Lamine Yamal, but we didn't want to sell them. We rejected an offer of 200 million euros for Lamine Yamal. Now, we talked about this, I think it was 2 weeks ago after the Mallorca game, where the news came out that PSG apparently verbally offered Barcelona 200 million euros through intermediates for Lamine Yamal, which Barcelona rejected, and Laporta has basically confirmed this in the media. The fact that PSG bid 200, or maybe not official bid, but kind of threw that number out there, is wild, in my opinion. Anyways, Laporta continued by saying that we don't want to sell any big players. If all goes well with our plans and our goals, we won't be forced to sell any players this summer. Remember that quote when the summer hits. Of course, if someone wants to leave, we won't stop them, but I'm not worried at all with that. We want to keep the same squad. Again, he's not saying we're not going to sign no one. Little fine-tuning, maybe bring back some loan players, sign maybe one or two players, but again, the core of the team is really, really strong. We just have to get that. Again, we have the cake. You have the base of the cake, which Laporta is basically saying the balance of the team. We now want to put the icing, the cherry on top, maybe a little bit of sprinkles as well. On the Super League, I think the Super League will start in 2025, and it will be a very attractive competition. So I think once the summer ends, September, you're going to hear a lot of news on the Super League, so stay tuned for that. On Xavi, Laporta says, I want Xavi to stay. I've already spoken to him, and I insist on that. We made a commitment with Xavi that we will talk at the end of the season. Sometimes decisions are reconsidered. Now, he did mention that he believes that if we reach the semi-final of the Champions League, he really thinks that Xavi will change his mind. Oh, sorry, he didn't say that. It was Jordan Mero, who of course is very close to Laporta, and all these inside sources he gets right. He said that if we reach the semi-finals, Xavi might reconsider. And the fact that Xavi and Laporta have promised each other to talk at the end of the season means two things. One, Xavi maybe changing his decision is possible. And two, looking for a new manager, forget about it. From now until the end of the season, which is probably going to be end of maybe beginning of June, you will hear little to no manager discussion, which I think is a big risk, especially if Xavi says he does not want to stay at Barcelona. Now, finally, at the end of this Mundo Deportivo interview, of course, after that podcast he did with Barca Studio and the Barca One television program, he dropped a big bombshell. We have told Nike that based on the violations that were clear to us, we have terminated our contract with them. They now have 45 days to compensate us, and they did not do that, and we informed them of the termination of the contract. So Barcelona are breaking the relationship with Nike, which means that not next season, but the following season, 25-26 season, we're going to have a new sponsor, whether it's going to be Puma, Adidas, our own manufacturer. Remains to be seen, but looks like the relationship with Barcelona and Nike is coming to an end. And the fact that Laporta has already called on the termination of the contract basically means there's no turning back at this point. Again, Nike were underpaying us to hell at this point. They're paying us 85 million fixed when you have Bayern Munich, Man City, Real Madrid paying 120. You know the difference. That's almost a 50 million euro difference that Barcelona are not getting. We have the most sales in shirts in the entire world of football, and that is an absolute fact. So, since I've been a Barcelona fan, it's always been Nike. I've always preferred Adidas, if I'm being honest. The only Nike stuff I bought was with Barcelona. I never went out and got like a Nike sweater or anything like that, but we'll wait and see how things turn out with this kit sponsor. What's going to be the next step, of course. Will it be Puma? Will it be Adidas? Will it be going with our own manufacturer like Hummel? All that's going to be in the air, but it looks like Laporta has decided to terminate the contract with Nike and proceed with another kit supplier. So overall, for me, I think the main thing to highlight in this interview is about the squad balance and the plan for the summer transfer window. Keeping the main players, renewing Araujo, Gavi, Pedri, Frankie de Jong, and of course adding the one or two, not big signings, but signings that that will get us excited. So for example, Koundé last 2 summers ago, not really a glamour signing in terms of the fee, 50 million euros, but we all knew at that time he was a big signing. He was a big player from the fans' perspective, from the media, from other fans are probably thinking, 50 million for a defender, whatever. We need 2 more of those signings this upcoming summer. Even Rafinha, 60 million. So you think of Rafinha and Koundé combined around 100 million euros. That's what the club want to do this summer as well. Getting those 2 or 3, I would say probably 2 decent players that can really have an impact on the squad. And of course, mainly keeping the core of the majority of the players that we currently have. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts on the interview, your thoughts on Laporta's words about him speaking a lot in the media recently as well, and also on what he said, the bid from Lamine Yamal, would you have accepted it or not, Nike contract termination, the futures of the Joaos as well, signing a big player like Holland, and of course, keeping those players, renewals of Frankie and Araujo. Leave me all your thoughts down below, and of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.